Hi, I'm Pastor Mike, and I'm Associate Pastor here at Yorkminster Presbyterian Church in Yorktown, Virginia. And even though we can't be together face to face, I wanted to share with you one of my very favorite stories. And it might help you today or tomorrow or the day after that. This book is called The Three Questions. It was written and illustrated. It was watercolor painted by a guy named John Muth in 2002. But it's based on a story by a man named Leo Tolstoy. And Tolstoy was an author, a Russian author, back in the late 1800s. And he wrote a couple of famous books that I had to read way back when. Maybe some of you all did too. And at the end of this video, I'll tell you what they are, and you can see if you remembered right. So this book is called The Three Questions. There once was a boy named Nikolai who sometimes felt uncertain about the right way to act. I want to be a good person, he told his friends, but I don't always know the best way to do that. Nikolai's friends understood and they wanted to help him. If I could only find the answers to my three questions, Nikolai continued, then I would always know what to do. Now, Nikolai's three friends are in this picture. Do you think you can find his three friends? Isn't this a beautiful book? I really love the paintings. So here's his three questions. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? Don't we ask that question a lot? Nikolai's friends considered his first question. Then Sonia the heron spoke. To know the best time to do things, one must plan in advance, she said. Gogol, the monkey, who had been rooting around through some leaves to find something to eat, said, you will know when to do things if you watch and pay close attention. And then Pushkin the dog, who was just dozing off, rolled over and said, you can't pay attention to everything yourself. You need a pack to keep watch and help you decide when to do things. For example, Gogol, a coconut is about to fall on your head. These pages are big. Nikolai thought for a moment. Then he asked his second question. Who is the most important one? Those who are closest to heaven, said Sonia, circling up into the sky. Those who know how to heal the sick, said Gogol, stroking his bruised noggin. Those who make the rules, growled Pushkin the dog. Nikolai thought some more. Then he asked the third question. What is the right thing to do? Flying, said Sonia. Having fun all the time, laughed Gogol. Fighting, barked Pushkin right away. Then the boy thought for a long while. He loved his friends, and he knew they were trying their very best to help him answer his questions. But their answers didn't seem quite right. Then an idea came to him. I know, he thought. I will ask Leo the turtle. He has lived for a very, very long time. Surely he will know the answers that I am looking for. Nikolai hiked way up into the mountains where the old turtle lived all alone. When Nikolai arrived, he found Leo digging in the garden. The turtle was old, and digging was very hard for him. I have three questions, and I came to ask your help, said Nikolai. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? What is the right thing to do? Not as good at turning pages as I'd like to be. Here we go. Leo listened carefully, but he only smiled. Then he went on with his digging. "You must be tired," Nikolai said at last. "Let me help you." The turtle gave him his shovel and thanked him. And because it was easier for a young boy to dig than it was for an old turtle, Nikolai kept on digging until the rows were finished. But just as he finished, the wind blew wildly and rain burst from the darkened clouds. As they moved down towards the cottage for shelter, Nikolai suddenly heard a cry for help. Running down the path, he found a panda whose leg had been injured by a fallen tree. This is kind of a funny picture, isn't it? Look at him with that big old panda. Carefully, Nikolai carried her into Leo's house and made a splint for her leg with a stick out of bamboo. The storm raged on, banging at the doors and windows. The panda woke up. "Where am I?" she said. "And where is my child?" The boy ran out of the cottage and down the path. The roar of the storm was deafening. Pushing against the howling wind and drenching rain, he ran further into the forest. Then he found the panda's child, cold and shivering on the ground. The little panda was wet and scared, but alive. Nikolai carried her inside and made her warm and dry, and then he laid her in her mother's arms. Leo smiled when he saw what the boy had done. See, turtles know that a cup of hot tea is always a good solution on a cold and wet day. The next morning, the sun was warm, birds sang, and all was well with the world. The panda's leg was healing nicely, and she thanked Nikolai for saving her and her baby from the storm. At that moment, Sonia, Gogol, and Pushkin arrived to make sure everyone was all right. Nikolai felt great peace within himself. He had wonderful friends, and he had saved the panda and her child. But he also felt disappointed. He still had not found the answers to his 3 questions. So he asked Leo one more time. The old turtle looked at the boy. "But your questions have been answered," he said. "They have?" asked the boy. "Yesterday, if you'd not stayed to help me dig my garden, you wouldn't have heard the panda's cries for help in the storm. Therefore, the most important time was the time that you spent digging in the garden. The most important one at that moment was me, and the most important thing to do was to help me with my garden. Later, when you found the injured panda, the most important time was the time you spent mending her leg and saving her child. The most important ones were the panda and her baby, and the most important thing to do was to take care of them and make them safe." And don't they look safe in this beautiful picture? Remember then that there's only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always the one you are with, and the most important thing to do good for is the one standing at your side. For these, my dear boy, are the answers to what is most important in this world. This is why we are here. And that's the end of the book. But is it really the end of the story? Did this help answer some of your questions today? I know right now is a pretty scary time for some people. Some folks are really afraid that they're going to get sick, or that they might make someone else sick by accident. And so we have to stay home and take care of ourselves and the people around us. That's really, really important right now. And the most important thing that you can do right now is help the person you're with. Do what you can to help them right now. We don't know what the future is holding for us or what's going to go on in the future, but you know who does? God knows. And so it's really important sometimes to talk to God. And if you're scared, God is great to talk to because God always listens and God knows how scared we are. And if you're happy, it's a good time to talk with God too. And you can tell God the things that you're joyful about and the things you want to celebrate. I hope you take advantage of the time that you have right now with your friends and your family, and that you all enjoy each other's company and do your best to help each other the ways that you can. So let's do a pray after me prayer. Dear God, thank you. Thank you for the people in my house. Thank you for my neighbors. Thank you for the people working in the hospitals. Thank you for the people who are working at stores and at restaurants to help us have the food we need. God, most of all, we thank you that you love us all the time and that the most important to you is us right now. And let everybody say, amen. Thanks for watching. You like my new technology? Let's see if I can turn it off with my watch. Here we go.